Hi, my relatives. Welcome back to the 18th episode of the Our Storytellers podcast. On today's episode, you're joined by just me today. Super special episode, super short episode as well too, but it's good to see everybody, and we're happy to be back. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Riel, Drury. I'm Métis from Nehio and Soto background. I'm from the Prue family. My family's from Red River, Manitoba, and I grew up out here in BC. Just to start off today's quick podcast, I'd like to just start off with a couple of thank yous. And the first thank you is to everybody who's been listening and supporting the podcast. We're so grateful for you, and it's been amazing to see just how much growth we've had in the first year. We're at 384 Spotify followers. We're at 228 YouTube subscribers, and we have 13.25K just followers across all of our social media channels. So to each and every one of you, thank you so much for following our storytellers, and we're so glad to have you here. The next people that we'd like to thank are the first 17 guests that were on the podcast, being patient with us, letting us learn and continue to learn as well too. And we're so grateful for each and every one of you too, because without you, we wouldn't even have a show. So we're so grateful. Thank you to everybody who's come on and shared their stories. I'd also like to thank my best friend and business partner, Jim. He puts in so much into this podcast, and he's got to put up with me too. And believe me, that's a whole nother test in itself. But he puts his blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and I could not do it without him. He keeps me consistent. He keeps me honest. So thank you so much, Jim. I'd also like to thank my family. My family's been very big cultural advisors to the podcast, big supporters, big listeners. They share it every single episode. I'm so grateful to my parents and my aunts and my cousins and everybody who just have held up the podcast. It means so much. I love you all. Now, some of you may be wondering why we took a little bit of break from the podcast or why we stopped producing. But to be honest with you, 2024 was a very, very hard year on me. I went through a lot of change. I think I went through a lot of personal growth as well too. And I went through some changes that caused me to lose access to those last cameras, but through perseverance and finding a way, Jimbo and I scraped together some money to buy these two cameras. And it's always interesting how when one door closes, another door opens, and creators are always there to provide. So our podcast setup is much more travelable. We're hoping to be able to travel to people's homes or communities or wherever they want to film, and be able to record the stories right from the source. We did also build this big, beautiful studio as well too, that we're so excited to have some people just come sit and hang out in. But we went through some stuff. We've recovered. We're super excited for this next era of the Our Storytellers podcast and where this is going to bring us. So yeah, we're grateful, and thank you to Creator for always providing. One thing that I just want to highlight is, we could have kept recording stories just in an audio format, but for me, I don't know, it just kind of felt like a step back. I always want to be able to pay the most respect to the listener of the story and to the storytellers. And I just feel like you don't really get the full story without seeing it, or you get the fullest version of the story by actually being in the room and hearing it. But I guess the second best is just being able to see it on camera, and that's really important to me. So we just kind of stuck to our guns and try to find a way, and we evolved because of it. For some people who are new here, or maybe returning listeners, the mission of our storytellers is to respectfully tell stories of the human experience. And the reason why we do that is because we're trying to create a world where we all understand each other. And that's the vision that we're trying to get to with using our storytellers as the vehicle to get us there. And we're going to try to keep expanding into new forms of content, or into new ways that we can understand each other. So, Akimeamok, don't stop till the job is done, and we won't. Just one thing I just want to make sure everybody knows about the podcast is that, like Jim and I, we're not owners of any of the stories that come on here. Every guest that comes on, they're here to share their story, and Jim and I really see us as two professionals who are trying to create the best product for these people, for the people who are brave enough to share their stories. So, we never lay claim to any story. We just kind of share everything, and everybody's included, and everybody has a spot here. So, we don't shy away from any type of content or anything like that. We try to just share the most respectfully diverse perspectives we possibly can. And we're going to keep doing that. A couple of things that you can do. I mean, we have plans to post on Patreon all of our content a lot earlier. We're going to get there with that for sure. But if you wouldn't mind supporting us on Patreon with some cash money, that would help out so much. But the second best thing you could do is just to follow us on any of our social channels, and subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Spotify. All that stuff helps, and maybe you'll see a piece of content that you enjoy. We're still a small community too, so if you ever want to message us on our socials, or just let us know what you want to learn about or anything like that, you can just DM us, and Jim and I will be sure to respond. So with that being said, we're super excited to get into this next era of our storytellers. Keenan Askaman, I'm grateful for each and every one of you. All my relations, love, Riel. And while we have you here, and if you're watching, here's some footage of our new studio. But I caught the microphone because we need to make sure our equipment lasts. Cue to B-roll, Jim.